What up, everybody? We are back again. I'm trying new things every night here, which is why I keep coming back night after night. So tonight, we are live on YouTube, and we're live on Twitch, and for the first time in a long time, my first time ever, I'm live and alone on TikTok. And Steve is here. Steve is going to be bumping into the equipment all night and trying to knock us off the air. I've got some cool technical things I want to try a little bit later on, but I don't want to do it right off the bat because I'm afraid I'll knock us off the air immediately. I'd like to at least have some time with you guys before I do that. Steve is just going to be all over me tonight. He's been enjoying these things quite a bit, but only once he gets settled down. If you have not checked out this show before, it's the call-in show. I'll be taking phone calls, talking to you guys about pretty much anything that you want. The number is on the screen if you're on YouTube or Twitch, 760-517-6844. It is in the description. If you are on TikTok, God, it is so distracting to do this with Steve just assaulting me. So let's see if we can get to some calls right away before Steve knocks us off the air. See if we got someone there on the not so late Night Show. I call it the Late Night Show, and it's not really that late here in the West Coast. What time are we starting at? We're starting at 8:34 p.m. Oh, there we go. No, I didn't see that, obviously. The microphone was a little far away from me. 8:34, and we'll see who the first caller is on the Not So Late Night Show with Pete. That's me. Who's this? Hello, hello. Who is this? They're not there. One last try. Hello?
Hello, Pete.
Oh,
how are you?
There we go. You scared the crap out of me. When the first call of the night doesn't work, I'm like, oh, God, I did something wrong. Very glad to hear your voice. Who's this?
Indeed. Hey, I am Brian calling you from South Carolina.
Brian, good to hear from you tonight. Hey, my parents called me today and told me that my head was in front of the letter T, so it just looked like it was like P-E-E-E or something like that. So I spent like an hour and a half today using zip ties trying to bring the letters Pete up above my head. So for the edification of my parents and anybody else that didn't think my name was P, did I do it? Can you see the letters tonight?
I'm functionally blind myself.
Well, then I'm asking them. I always assume everybody else around me has eyeballs. I always just, I'm always asking those questions, even when I know the other person is blind. When I did a video with Molly Burke, I kept asking her, I'm like, what's up ahead? She's like, I don't know. I was like, oh, right. I'm so used to being the only blind person around. Sorry about that. I should have asked that question first.
No, you're totally fine. Hey, I have had a lot of medical stuff happen in the last year. I kind of want to ask a question because I know that there's been a couple of people who've asked similar things, but fundamentally, I, like you, sort of have known for a while that my vision is going to get bad. I didn't know when, I didn't know how much, I didn't know what the impact would be on my life.
Yep. Familiar story.
So, yeah, I'm in my mid-20s, and I was like, oh, I have until I'm 30. This isn't going to be a problem.
Right.
So, you know, I guess my question would be, when you are actively working on something, like I'm a writer by trade, when you are actively working on something, how do you push yourself to say, all right, I can get that next voice gig, I'm going to book the next client, I'm going to start freelancing or something, because I have like 5 or 6 different projects on my burner right now that I'm writing, and I kind of want one of them to hit.
Yep.
Mentally, I've been unemployed for about a year, and I'm at the point where I'm actively searching for employment. It's not the easiest thing. I know I can. I got positive mindset, but it's like, all right, one of these things has to hit, ideally in between now and getting a full-time job or some kind of stable employment.
Yeah. So, and that's your passion project, right? Writing that's what you enjoy. So I've always done, just before we get to the whole thing, I'll tell you, that's what I've always done. Like, I really wanted to be a voice actor, but obviously you don't just wake up one day and become a voice actor the next day. I knew it was going to be a long journey. So I was working in radio for years and years and years and years as a creative director or commercial production director, and putting together the stuff that other people were voicing as I was working towards being a voice actor. So, I mean, I'm all about going for your dreams. dreams, but also at a certain point, you kind of got to pay your bills. So I always had a job as I was working towards my dream of becoming a voice actor. So I'm on your page there. But you were asking, how do you keep the motivation going to keep working on these projects?
Yeah, or more, I guess. So, I've also gotten into sport in part because of your content. I'm planning for a half marathon. So I guess like chunking it out and making it manageable, because I don't know when I'm going to find stable employment, but I do know mentally and logically that I will finish these things, and they will have some traction on some level as long as I market them.
Yep.
I guess what strategies have you used to go through the motions of like a week by week?
Someone was talking to me last night. I think it was a high school student. I was telling him that I was the kind of kid that went home right after school or right after sports practice and immediately did my homework. And as soon as I've got a project in mind, I'm just the type of person, I mean, you could call it neurotic or whatever you call it. Like, I just have to get stuff done. I spent just massive amounts of time building for my voiceover career because I woke up every morning knowing that I had to put the steps in, put the work in, and I would make demos and I'd put together custom things that I'd send to radio stations or potential advertisers. And basically every day I just put together a checklist of things that I wanted to get done that day, building towards the ultimate goal. And that day wasn't complete until I did that stuff. I feel like I'm just kind of goal oriented. So you wake up in the morning and you set the goal and you just kind of work on accomplishing the little goals until you reach your big goal. I lost you there. I hope that kind of answers your question, basically about motivation and how do you keep things on track. And it is hard when you're balancing a lot of things. I mean, these days I'm doing YouTube as a passion project and I'm doing voiceovers as my living. And I'm also working a lot on trying to get the Blind Surfer cartoon done. And these are all things that I'm passionate about. So I just try and make the time each day. And then I've also got to, have a personal life, spend time with Banana, spend time with the dogs. But it just, you decide you have to do it and you find the time to get it done. This is the Not So Late Night Show, 760-517-6844. I'm Pete. Who's this?
Oh, hey, Pete, this is Dominic again.
Dominic, what's going on? Dominic, can you see the stream? I'm gonna be courteous and actually ask. Can you see the video tonight?
Yes, sir.
All right. So is the PETE visible above my head? Did I do it right?
Yeah.
All right. Nice.
It's pretty visible.
My parents will be very excited that my head's not in the way and I didn't mess it up. I asked Steve if he could see it, and he was not helpful in that respect. What's going on tonight, Dominic?
Oh, hey, Pete, I just wanted to tell you I did good in bowling yesterday. I remember on Friday I was talking to you about how I had bowling on Saturday. And
I believe you.
I did pretty good at.
You told me that your highest score to date, let's see if I can test my memory, I believe was a 180. Is that correct?
Bingo.
Nice. How'd you do yesterday then?
I did pretty good. My first game, I think it was a 116.
Pretty good.
And then I got a 121, and then I got a 113.
Nice. That sounds like a good day, and you had fun, right?
Yep. I was bowling with my team, and we won all 3 games against the other team.
That's awesome.
We're first place in our bowling league right now. So I'm trying to get first place 2 years in a row. So last year I got first place, and now this year I'm trying to get first place again.
Congratulations. That's great. Did you know, so what state are you from again? Arizona. So I grew up in Massachusetts, and apparently there's a thing in Massachusetts that isn't really in the rest of the country, and I think they call it candlepin bowling, and it's with tiny little balls. Have you ever heard of or done candlepin bowling?
Yeah, I think so. It was at like Great Wolf Lodge. I was with my friends. I think I did it before.
It was much more common in Massachusetts, and I kind of thought that's what bowling was, with these little balls that you could basically just hold in your hand. And then I started going to other bowling places in other states. I used to bowl when I was younger, and I'd travel around as a competitive sailor. We'd go to bowling. Cool. Yeah, we'd go to bowling alleys. And I remember the first time I was out of state, and I'm like, what is with these giant balls?
Yeah, I don't really like that type. I don't really like candlepin bowling. Like, it's just not my type. Like, I do this thing that's called two-handed bowling, so I only have I only have 2 holes in my bowling ball instead of 1. So like I have my 2 fingers in it, and then I have my other hand in the bowling ball, and I have like spin it, so like it hooks to the pins, and that's how I usually get my strikes.
That's pretty cool. Well, I appreciate the update. I'm glad you had a good time. Glad you did well. Congratulations on the team being first. I actually I have a video on YouTube. I have a short and a long where I went bowling with Banana and Josh and Danny. And Danny, she actually took bowling as a college activity. She like got credit to do bowling. So lo and behold, in the middle of me bowling my frame, she came along and gave me some pointers. I got a strike. I think if you type in blind surfer, I forget the exact name of the video, but if you type in blind surfer bowling, you can watch my my adventures at the bowling alley. It is the not so late night show with Pete. I am your host. Says it above my head, I hope. Who is this? Who am I talking to right now?
Hey, man, that's David Saunders from Oshkosh, Wisconsin again. How you doing, dude?
Good. What's going on? It's starting to get so we're doing this at a regular time. I think when Banana gets back, I've obviously been alone and bored a little bit, so I'm doing this a little more regularly. I might try and change up some times, but you seem to enjoy the evening. You're around for the evening talk, right?
Yeah, well, this is my time to like sit in bed and watch YouTube, and your suggestion for the video popped up. I'm like, oh, cool, he's live again.
I'm back. I might do one more tomorrow. I'm not sure what. So each night I've been trying to test something different. We're on the I think we're on TikTok. This is the hard thing about doing it myself. I don't have anybody to check. I tried to press the button, the text to speech. I'll tell you, the text to speech capabilities on TikTok are kind of. I mean, I watch. I'll talk bad about the platform, and then they'll kick me off of it. But the text to speech is not great. There are buttons that you tap on and it doesn't say anything. So I kept tapping until it didn't say anything. I'm like, that must be the button that says go live. So I'm either live on TikTok or not, but I'm glad to have the YouTube audience, all 2.4 million subscribers. I feel like they should shoot that notification out to everybody, but happy to have you on. So what's up tonight?
I wanted to applaud you for underestimating me. I've been listening to rap my whole life. I grew up in Detroit, and freaking that song is sweet, man.
Thank you. I was torn between, that was literally my first pass. And I have noticed in voice acting, a lot of times I'll go into the studio, especially if I have a big audition, and I'll do my first pass of like a movie trailer or something, and then I'll do a second, third, fourth, fifth, 10th, 8th, 20th. And a lot of times I'll go back and I'll be like, I think I had it right in my first pass. And the process in my head was that I'm a pro at. I'm a pro voice actor, so generally my first instinct is going to be good. With hip-hop music, which I'd never performed before, this is the mental battle I had with myself. I was like, I don't know if my first instinct is good because I've never done this before, but I think I'm just going to go with the first take. And some people have come back and said, I feel like you could put a little more feeling into the words. And to me, the feeling was exactly how I wanted it. It's kind of understated, simmering anger. And I didn't think there was another way. I mean, did they want me to be like, underestimating it, like growling it? Like, I felt like the delivery was true to how I felt in my heart. So I'm glad to hear that you liked it.
Yeah, I like the cadence of it. It really flows nice. That's what I like about a lot of rap, that you can understand each word and yet it has a nice cadence to it as well.
Yeah, it felt good to do. Like I enjoyed it. I listened to a ton of hip hop and I listened back and I'm like, I feel like this is something that I'd want to listen to. And that's, once I listened to it, I'd play it during my workout a few times and I'm like, I think I like this. And I decided to put it out. Actually, so this is what I'm doing. Tomorrow's video on Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific, I'm dropping a video. Nisha had me skateboarding down a sidewalk while I was holding one of my 7-foot surfboards, and it was a bit of an adventure. On Tuesday, October 15th, YouTube is changing their entire shorts feed to allow videos that go up to 3 minutes long. They've always been.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I'm so torn about how I feel about that because I'm sure you don't delve into the analytics of my channel, but people love my shorts. I do a short and it goes 100,000 views, 10 million views. The shorts do really well. Then I drop a long and it goes nowhere. It gets like 1,000 views, maybe a couple thousand. Sometimes they do better. And what I've been reading online is that the shorts audience like short videos. And my audience came to me through the shorts. So when I present to them a longer video, they're like, I don't really have time for that. I don't want to watch that much. So now I'm nervous that they're going to be force feeding upwards of 2.5 to 3 minute videos. I'm curious to see how it goes, but the first video I'm going to drop with the ability to go 3 minutes is I cut down Underestimate Me into a 3 minute version. And because I dropped it as a long, it got 11,000 views, which is pretty good. But I had the video editors turn it into a vertical video, and then I edited the music down to 2 minutes and 59 seconds. And I'm going to drop it on the Shorts feed again on Wednesday, and I'm curious to see how it'll do there.
Yeah, I seen your short version of it today, the 1 minute version.
Yep. That
was pretty decent too. But I do like the long version though, because you had some really cool videos on there. You just living life, and I liked seeing you shooting the gun at the range, because like I listened to a book by a comedian, and she was blasting that blind people are allowed to shoot, and I'm just thinking to myself, F you, man. Who do you think you are?
I only had 2 long videos do well, and one of them was when Mr. Beast said he cured blindness, and that sucked, because then everybody was like, well, why don't you go get Mr. Beast cure? And I had to go and set the record straight that he paid for cataract surgery, and I obviously don't have cataracts. Problem number 1. Then
Right.
the other long video I did, and it kind of bummed me out. Like, I don't even like doing clapback videos, but I felt like in that case I had to at least put that out there. And it really, like, I just met Mr. Beast, and like he'd allowed Banana and I to film him. I've got a couple videos with him. Like, what a nice guy. Like, I don't know what anybody else thinks of him. I can only tell you my personal interaction, but we were at Airac's house and Mr. Beast was there, and Banana said, like, can we film you? And he's like, yeah, no problem. Like, he didn't ask what we were going to do. Just, he's like, yeah, put a camera in my face. No problem. And so we made videos, and then I felt really bad. Like 3 months later, he's like, I cured blindness. And I'm like, no, you didn't. Like, I had to, and people are like, why are you attacking Mr. Beast? I'm like, I'm not. I'm just trying to set the record straight that all blindness hasn't cured. Because honestly, if everybody thought all blindness was cured, then the fundraising goes down, and there's just a lot of misinformation out there. Anyway, I'm going off topic. So the only other video that I did that got a lot of views was when Hassan Abi came across the video that you saw where I was shooting guns at the range, and he went off on like, there's no way blind people should be allowed to have guns. And to me, I was just like, it's not like they just, I didn't just walk into Walmart, they handed me a gun, and then I would just shot wildly around. Like, I went through the testing. I had a personal instructor. I went to the police station in my town to have an interview. I got the license. Then I had to take another test just to join the gun club that I went to. And then I was supervised there, and I always had an instructor with me. Like, talk about taking every precaution. And then I had this goofball going on, and I was like, oh, they shouldn't even give this, that's ridiculous that they let him do that. I'm like, they didn't let me. I basically earned the right to do it and did it safely.
Right, yeah. And then, like, I'm a felon. I can't own a gun anymore. I miss shooting so bad. But, like, I totally understand, like, if you're a good guy, your disability shouldn't keep you from it.
Yeah, I mean, I was learning very different. I wasn't lining it up and looking down the sights like other people. I was going through muscle memory. I'd have a coach behind me, and I got a couple cool videos about it online. He'd say higher, lower, on target, and then I'd kind of put it in my head like, this is what it felt like when I was on target. Like, so remember that next time. And then we bring the paper back and we see how I did. Although, Banana has been kind of the angel on my shoulder throughout all of this channel. She was the one who suggested very early on to keep it kid friendly, don't swear a lot. And I did the gun video, and she wasn't psyched about it. And I get her point. Like, I'm not trying to encourage a bunch of kids to go out and pick up guns, which is why I was trying to be very clear in the videos that I did about why I did it. It was a hobby that I felt like I could take part in even as a blind person, because I had a very well-known instructor who was willing to help me out. And that clip, it's funny that you referenced that one in the Underestimate Me video, because that was in, then it was out, then it was in, then it was out. And I was really torn on whether or not to put that in there, because I didn't know how it was going to be taken out of context. But what we did, if I recall, the clip right before it is I'm throwing a Frisbee, I'm playing disc golf, and I throw a Frisbee and get it right in the net. And then I thought it was cool that the next clip in the video was I was firing a gun, and I believe, I'm not sure if it fit into the frame, but I did get a bullseye with that shot. So I thought it worked as a, like, hey, even a blind guy can have good aim. It was what I was trying to show there.
I think you were a model of gun safety, because you turned around and smiled and you kept your gun down range.
Yeah, that's,
you were showing gun safety right there in the video.
Yeah, I tried to take more. That's the thing. I felt like I knew I was going to be judged as a blind guy with a gun. So I took more precautions than I think other people would. And that's why when Hassan was like, he shouldn't be allowed to, it kind of, it's just another internet guy, a Twitch streamer. So it's not like I went to bed being like, grr to that guy. But I woke up in the morning. I was like, I do feel like I need to go and explain. Because if he thinks that I'm walking around just shoot, people are like, how do you do home defense if you're blind? And the answer is, I don't.
You don't.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not. If I think someone is in my house, someone's like, well, what if you shot Banana? Like, that would never, ever, ever happen. I've only ever fired a gun at a range with an instructor around. And like the fact that someone's like, what if you shot your wife because you thought she was an intruder? Like, no, that's just not going to happen. Like, I try and tell people all the time, I'm blind. I'm not mentally challenged. Like, I can still use my brain.
Right. So I got to ask, is Banana a real name?
No,
I didn't think so.
her real name is Maggie. It's been said a few times, and a couple of times I'll just say it when I'm out and about, and it ends up in a short, and people are like, who's Maggie? But I've been.
Hey, my wife's here. She wants to say a couple words quick.
Sure, go ahead.
So I just have to say, I think it's really cool that you don't let your, challenges and things get you down. I have spina bifida, and I was raised to never let my challenges get me down either. And I just think you're so inspirational, and just keep doing you, man.
Thank you. I'm glad to hear that you're not letting your condition get in your way at least as much as you can as well. I think positive attitude goes a long way when you got some challenges to deal with. It's easy to let it get you down and just kind of retreat into yourself and get away from the world that's so hard, but it's much more challenging when you can get out into it and challenge yourself and overcome those things. So I'm glad to hear that that's the road that you've taken.
Exactly. And I mean, I hunt, I fish, I do everything. And on one of my hunting trips, I shot an elk at 769 yards.
Holy crap. That's like sniper school range right there. That's really impressive.
Right. But yeah,
I do.
It was one of my biggest accomplishments.
That's amazing. I do voiceovers for a couple of different hunting shows. I do Team 200 and Winchester Deadly Passion are two shows that I do voice acting for. Never done hunting myself, but as you know, we were just talking about firearms a little bit, and I know that over 700 yards, you are an impressive woman. That is a hell of a shot. Good for you.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a 300 Weatherby Magnum with a 22 power scope.
And really? That's not even designed to go that's nearly impossible. It's like,
and to top it all off, I'm only 4'7".
Wow. I mean, at that range too, you have to actually, if you were doing it, if you were doing a sniper shot, you'd have to, at that range, well, no, it's a little under where you have to start dealing with the rotation of the earth, but you're on the verge. I mean, it's a crazy shot. Good for you.
Yeah, it was one of my biggest accomplishments.
Well, good to hear from both of you tonight. I appreciate it. I'm going to move on and take some other calls. It is the not so late night show. What time is it tonight? It is. Control Center. That's Control Center. 8:55. Around 9:30 my time, I'm going to try something that I haven't done before from a technical standpoint, and may just knock me right off the air. So I wanted to at least get an hour in talking to everybody before I did it. But around 9:30 Pacific, I'm going to try and see if I can do something cool. It is the not so late night show. I'm Pete. Who's this?
Hey, this is Chris Brown.
Chris Brown. What's going on tonight? Where are you calling from?
Hey, I'm calling from California.
Yeah.
It's
That's where I'm at.
just a couple questions for you. For your audio stuff, I've been doing audio stuff for a long time now. And what exactly are you using tonight? Just out of curiosity.
What am I using tonight for all the equipment that I've got?
Yeah.
Sorry, Steve.
Then also what do you use for your voice acting?
Steve was getting a little loud there. So for voice acting, and this is people that are blind and visually impaired, they ask me like, what do you use? And I'm like, you will never be able to use what I use. And it's not because I'm amazing at it. It's because it's very difficult to learn once you've lost your eyesight. So I use Pro Tools, which is probably one of the more visually complicated pieces of editing software there is. Sorry for everybody.
Yeah, I use Traction, so.
Yeah, it's Pro Tools just has so much going on, but I set it up as basic as possible. I don't want to get into the weeds for the people that don't know audio, but I use voice activated. When I hover over things, it'll tell me where my mouse is, and then of course once you lay the audio into there, you can scrub back and forth over it, and you hear it. You know, this is rated R, and you know you edit it by hearing it. So that's what I use for recording and editing my software. Tonight, I'm actually, the thing that my right, I don't know if the camera is zoomed in or out right now, but in my right hand, I have something called a Stream Deck, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I use those.
Yeah,
those are amazing.
It's tactile. So it's got 5, 10, 15 buttons on it. And and I can fire off like, yeah, I got the music. I got the closing music, which is the music for my song Underestimate Me. And then I can answer. Yeah. And right before I went to you, you probably noticed that I put you on hold, which indicated that you were coming up next. Then I take you off hold. And so everything on phones that it has text to speech is great, but I can't be tapping around on text to speech all the time while I'm trying to talk to everybody. So I wanted a pad that I could touch. So I've got the Stream Deck hooked up to a PC, which is also where I'm running the phone system. And then in front of me here is the Mixcast 4 by Tascam, I think, who makes it.
Tascam.
Yeah, and I've got up to 4 microphones in there. Of course, I'm just using one tonight, but also the audio from.
What mic is that? Is that like a PG-48? I think.
This is a SM58.
Oh, it's an SM58. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The microphone.
So, what?
Go ahead.
So, what are you using for your like your call system? Like.
I'm just using Zoom.
Is that?
It's Zoom, but I upgraded a little bit to the way that I've got the call queue is I went to like a Zoom Pro. So they told me that I can put up to 60 people on hold at a time. Like, that's just mean. I don't want 60 people holding. So we jumped it down to 6. Yeah, exactly. So
a tenth of it.
Yeah. I felt like giving people hope if they're like 49th in line. I'm like, that's mean. They're not going to get in there. But you know, all this stuff I can touch, I can feel. Like, you came in a little quieter than the last guy, so I just reach forward, find the fader, and then I push it up. And then if the next person's a little hotter than you, I pull them down. My mic level should be steady, but it's funny when I have Banana off to my left and Brooks, they don't have, you know, they're not trained voice actors and they're not really mic conscious. So sometimes Banana will start getting far away. So I ride her fader and bring her up and down a little bit.
Yeah. But I'm a sound guy, so that drives me insane.
Yeah.
Like, I run sound for my church, so it's like during practice, people are screaming it out there, and then when it comes time for the actual like whole service, like nobody's doing anything, or when it's doing mic checks, they're silent,
right?
Almost silent,
yeah.
And then they're going for it. So.
Yeah, you're like, you got to do it like you're gonna do it because I got to set the board. But I remember after, it was like the first show I did with Banana, and she's like, lean back. She's like, you're all over that little mixing board in front of you. She's like, you're doing so many things with it. Just lean back and relax. I'm like, I can't. I'm riding everybody's level. I want to make sure everybody can be heard.
I'm looking in chat right now. Gabby Gotcha has the phone number so you can call Pete and talk to him.
Is that where? Is she? Which chat? Are you on TikTok or YouTube?
YouTube.
Okay.
YouTube.
Well, the number should be right on the screen, right?
Yeah. She was like, "Why is there a phone number on screen?" I was like, "That's so you can call."
Oh. I feel like that should be relatively obvious since you and I are talking right now.
Well, I don't know.
How's the chat doing tonight? Besides Gabby, is the chat going crazy tonight?
It's quite slow actually.
Okay, I didn't put on slow mode because I figured I'm not in there. They can do what they want.
Yeah, people are talking about Marvel.
Because of the video I posted yesterday, probably where.
I don't know. I usually only watch your live streams.
Okay. So yeah, did you have
being honest?
No, that's totally fine. I'm happy to have anybody watch anything that I put out there. I'm honored that people take their time to watch me. Yeah, but I cut you off. Do you have something else did you want to say?
No, I can't remember. What's the name of your dog that you have sitting to the left of you? I remember Super Dog.
Yep, Steve is there, Steve is the German short-haired pointer. Skylar was in here with me last night. She's the little 9-pound one. And I actually, I put a picture, again, I don't know what the camera's getting, but I did put a picture of Superdog. I'm afraid I don't want to reach too far and knock it over, but he should be just
I
off.
see him right now.
Yeah, he should just be off my right elbow. That whole area, it was pointed out to me, again, by people who were watching the stream, that it was really messy. I just had a bunch of junk there. I had some Simpsons toys and some wrapping paper, and I didn't think about it, and someone suggested that maybe I put up something a little nice, so I got a picture of Superdog that I had out on a counter in another room, and I decided to put that right next to me.
All right, so I'm looking at chat, and Baker says that he can't call right now, but to tell you, he says hello.
Hey, Baker. Hey, this is great. This is
Right.
Brooks is usually checking the chat for me. I appreciate you checking the chat.
Yeah, so actually, when you're zoomed into your thing, when you zoomed in, your Pete is a little bit cut off.
God,
So
damn it.
you might want to tilt your camera up slightly.
Damn it. What if I sit up more? Because then the thing will just track my eyesight. If I sit up more.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Now I gotta
I don't know.
now I gotta have good I gotta worry about my posture and everything. Got my parents busting my
Yeah.
balls that Pete's out of frame. What I'm doing my best here, people. There.
All right, so here's the thing: if because you like, I was looking at chat. If you want to, after you're finished here, you can stick me on hold, and then every 5 calls or something, you could take me off hold, and I could give you an update on what the heck's going on with chat.
I think the system doesn't do that. Once I can only put one person on hold at a time, but that's something I mentioned I'm going to be trying something at 9:30. I want to get a good hour of talking to people. And then right around 9:30, I'm actually going to see if text-to-speech software works while I'm streaming. I think if I go over to the YouTube app while I'm on my streaming software, it's going to knock me off the air, but I'm going to try it at 9:30. At least I'll get an hour with everybody tonight. What time are we at right now? We are at 9:03. Time flies. Thank you for the call. We're moving on to another one right now. It's the Not So Late Night Show with Pete. Who is this?
Hey there, it's Nick.
Nick, what's going on tonight?
I'm doing good. I sometimes see your live stream, so I kind of just, whenever I'm just chilling, I kind of watch, see what people have to say, you know?
Do you watch a lot? Are live streams? This is weird because I'm a content creator and I've put out like 1,400 videos of my own, but I'll say I don't watch a lot. Obviously, I mean I listen to some stuff, but are you a live stream consumer? Do you like them? Do you look for them on YouTube?
Yeah, there's some. I watch some Twitch streams on Twitch, some on YouTube. I do sometimes stream myself, but it's good. It's going a little well, so.
That's cool. I went on Twitch for the first time by myself last night, and I got an email notifications like, "Congratulations on your Twitch stream. You had a grand total of 2 followers, 2 people watching you." I was like, "Woo!" That's what it's like when you're starting from scratch. It's funny because on the call-in show on TikTok and YouTube, YouTube I got 2.4 million subscribers. TikTok I got 750,000, somewhere around the 740,000, and so people want to talk to me about the stuff that they've seen. I can imagine the people on Twitch, if they don't. They've never been fed me before. They're like, who's this goofball sitting on his couch trying to take some calls? So yeah, I had a whopping 2 people on Twitch last night. What up, Twitch? The 2 of you. I think one of them might have been me because I was monitoring it.
Yeah, that's kind of how mine goes. I'll just after I'm done streaming, I'll also get an email saying, "Hey, you had 1 viewer."
Yeah.
And it'll say how long they've been watching.
Hey, but at least you get to put it out there. You get the practice. I feel like I'm appreciative for the opportunity. I mean, Banana's been away, so I've been a little bored, but just trying to do this every night and talking to people and getting the flow and practice is good. I mean, it's nice when people are watching, but even when they're not, you can get something out of the experience.
Yeah, I for my school, I do. We do musicals. So for about 5 years, I've been doing the sound mixing for all of the musicals, and it's quite a big board. So it has a bunch of sliders, buttons, and I've just been doing it for 5 years. And I'm actually gonna go to college for a communications degree. So
do you know where you're going to college? Do you have anything in mind right now?
Went to UW Green Bay. I live up in Wisconsin.
Oh, cool. I work for the. I do some work for the Packers. You a Packers fan?
Yeah, yeah, I am.
I do.
I think they played today, so they won.
I narrate their. If you ever go to their Hall of Fame, I narrate a bunch of the experiences when you go there in person, and I also am the announcer for all of the Packers Vision. What is the name of the network? I forget the name of the network. But in the preseason, if you watch any of their preseason games, I do all the intros and outros and commercial sponsorships for the Packers. They're one of the. I do a lot of work for the NFL directly, but I believe the Packers. Yeah, they were. I think they were the first team to individually hire me back in 2013 or 2014 when I was starting to build my voiceover career. So I'm a big fan of them for that reason.
Yeah, there's this teacher, his name's Mr. Seth, and he's a Vikings fan. And when the Packers were going to play the Vikings, me and him made a bet. He had this Vikings hat, and I said, all right, let's make a deal. If the Packers win, he has to wear a Packers jersey. And if the Vikings win, I have to wear the Vikings hat. And I had to wear the Vikings hat for the rest of the school day. So.
Oh man! But it's kind of a cool hat, but not if it's your rival team. But the hat with the horns on it, I don't hate the. I mean, but he was going to wear a jersey. Why weren't you going to make him wear one of those goofy cheese heads? I feel like that would have been more of an even bet.
Oh yeah, I should have said that. The cheese hat.
Yeah, could wear a cheese hat in school all day. Well, thank you very much for the call. We're trying to get to me and Steve here. I'm trying to get through as many calls as I can tonight. I know at the end of every show, last night I went for an hour and 34 minutes, and there was a couple people that was like, I was in the queue and I wanted to talk, and I always feel bad. I want to get to as many people as I can. So we'll see who is up next. It's the Not So Late Show with Pete. Who's this?
Hi, my name's Joseph.
Joseph, what's going on?
What was your saddest animal that you had?
My saddest animal?
Yeah.
Saddest animal. I don't know if I've ever had a sad animal. I feel like all my animals are pretty happy. Superdog was a happy guy. Steve's ridiculously happy. Skylar's a happy little dog. I don't know. It's a weird question. Do you have a sad animal in your house?
No, I used to.
Yeah. Are you a sad animal?
No.
Okay. I'm not really sure where that one's going. I think I'm going to move on. I feel like I'm being set up for something with that one. I'm not entirely sure why, but someone asking my saddest animal is definitely, it's a first. Maybe I can think a little harder if I ever had a sad animal. I don't think so. I captured a caterpillar when I was like 5 years old. I don't think he was very happy to be captured. Does that count as an answer? It's the Not So Late Night Show with Pete. Who's this?
Christopher Price.
Christopher Price. What is going? Ask me anything other than my saddest animal, and I'll try and give you a good answer. What do you got for me?
What kind of animals do you have?
I've got 2 dogs right now. I got a German short-haired pointer, which, depending on what the camera is doing, is right here off my left elbow, and I've got a half Maltese, half Shih Tzu named Skylar, and she's usually in here, but she's on strike tonight. She's getting sick and tired of me doing these things, so she's doing her own thing tonight.
What time is it where you're at?
It is 9:10 p.m.
It's 12.
Well, that means you're in the Eastern time zone. You're 3 hours ahead of me, and it's probably 12:10. It'd be really weird if it was just 12 exactly. Did you know, this is something I didn't know, there are half-hour time zones out there? I had no idea that was a thing. I was working for a radio station in Sri Lanka, and I forget the number of hours they were ahead or behind, but there's a certain, they're like 10 and a half hours ahead. I'm like, I didn't even know that was possible. I thought it was just even hours going through all the latitude lines. And then I kept getting timestamps from them. They were like 10 and a half or 11 and a half hours ahead of me. I'm like, I learn something new every day. It is the Not So Late Show with Pete. Who is this?
Like 10 and a half hours.
Hey, that's me. Kill me. Well, don't kill me. Just turn my volume down, and then you and I can talk.
Wait. Am I on?
You are on. Who's this?
This is Jackson Novak calling from Austin, Texas.
What is up in Texas? That is where my caution tape themed wetsuit is going to be coming from. I couldn't get anybody in California to make it, so someone in Texas is making it for me.
Very interesting.
I'm excited about it. What's going on with you in Texas tonight?
Well, it's 11:11.
Okay. Make a wish.
I just got bored. Went to YouTube, saw you're streaming, joined the stream so I could call a number, called the number, and here I am.
Well, you did it. Congratulations. You found me. Do you have any fun facts? I was just dropping knowledge about half-hour time zones. I also learned today, or no, I learned last week that a banana is actually a berry. A banana is a berry, technically, and a strawberry, technically, is not a berry. It has something, berries apparently have to be in some sort of a casing and can't have seeds on the outside of them. So a banana is a berry and a strawberry is not a berry. That was the fun fact that I recently learned.
Yeah, I've heard, there's a misconception I've heard before that bananas are the seed for a banana plant. But then you have to realize that modern bananas are bred so there's no seeds inside of them.
Like I'm old enough. This is like how old I am. Either it's an age thing or maybe it was I just wasn't exposed to it. But when I was a little kid growing up, eating watermelons just consisted of you stick a bunch of in your mouth and then you spit out the seeds. And then all of a sudden, I forget when it was, sometime like in the 80s or something, all of a sudden they started making seedless watermelons. I was like, no way. Like it was one of the more exciting moments that I didn't have to spit out half my watermelon because I love watermelon and I hate spitting out seeds.
Yeah, the seedless watermelons also don't taste as good because the way they're made is they're given a growth chemical that speeds up the growth.
Oh, well now you ruin it for me. I was all excited about my seedless watermelons, but I didn't know that they were like fake hormones. I just thought that they were like crossbred some other way or something.
Yeah, no, it's literally they're just forced to grow faster than the seeds can develop.
So I'm technically eating baby watermelons that are just oversized?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh man, now I feel bad. I'm just eating a bunch of baby watermelons. What other than berry and seed talk, do you have anything else in your mind? You just want to call and say hey tonight?
Do you speak any other languages except English?
I studied, and by studied, I was diligent in going to my classes. I did Spanish. I'll say I did Spanish from 7th through 12th grade, and I was really, really, really bad at it. I was talking last night. I didn't have an aptitude for playing guitar, and I do not have an aptitude for languages. They just don't stick, and I spent so much time fixing my horrible Boston accent that I actually decided I just wanted to make sure that this one language that I'm speaking sounds as good and clear and concise and crisp as possible, and I didn't want to mess it up by trying to learn any other languages. Some people, my surf coach Nisha, she has a son who like, I feel like this kid can like learn a language a week. Some people just have aptitude for it, and I do not. So a little bit of Spanish. ¿Dónde está la biblioteca? Necesito una cerveza, por favor. ¿Dónde está el baño? Yeah, I'm not very good at it. Very basic stuff.
I mean, I understood biblioteca because that is library in Russian.
Oh, what?
Which actually,
I didn't know there's crossover between Russian and Spanish.
There's actually a lot of crossover between like Russian, Spanish, English. It's crazy.
I thought Russian being a Cyrillic language, I thought that would be very different than the Romance languages. That's I'm surprised there's some crossover.
Yeah, there's actually some pretty interesting crossovers between the two. But yeah, which actually, fun fact, if you think in a foreign language, you supposedly make more rational decisions.
What? Wait, where are you getting these interesting factoids? Yeah, I'm excited all the stuff that you're coming in with, but I feel like I'm gonna Google that one. If I think in a foreign language, I make more rational decisions. All right. All right, chat. I know I'm not in there with you guys in the chat, but chat, debate that one amongst yourselves, and maybe I can go back in with text to speech tomorrow and see what your concise what's the word I'm looking for? Consensus is on it. That's funny. All right. Well, I'm gonna We just got so many interesting facts from I'm eating baby watermelons to there's crossover between Russian and Spanish. What else did we cover? That was an interesting call. A bunch of random weird facts. But that's what we can do here. Anything that you guys want to talk about, it is the Not So Late Night Show with Pete, 760-517-6844. You dial that number. You will be in the queue to talk to me. And who is this? Hello? Oh man, I cannot hear that call. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that one at all. Sounded like someone was like hiding under their covers and trying not to get in trouble because it's a little past bedtime or something. They're like, hello? Can you hear me? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that person, but maybe the next person will be a little louder, a little clearer. Who is this?
Hey, Pete, this is Wolf and Fox. My fiance Fox has been talking to you through the chat quite a bit.
Sorry, I'm not in the chat with you guys, but I'm actually going to attempt my very first foray into the chat in about, what time is it? 9:17 p.m. 9:17. So in 13 minutes, I'm going to see if I can enter the chat. Wolf and Fox, did you guys just happen to find each other, or is that like, Banana's name isn't really Banana?
Our names aren't really Wolf and Fox either, but we did just happen to find each other.
That's cool.
I've got a really interesting story for you.
Sure.
And a follow-up question.
I would love to hear an interesting story.
Just recently, 2 weeks ago, my fiance Fox accidentally ran himself over with a Prius.
Ran himself over?
Yes.
He drove over himself.
Well, the Prius wasn't moving. He was.
Oh, okay.
He was on a one-wheel Pint S, which we just recently got.
Yeah.
And he was practicing, and unfortunately, he ran into the front of the car, and his leg got trapped under it. So he's got a broken leg now.
Oh, no. That's not cool.
Yeah.
But that's a really interesting, that is an interesting start to a story.
Yeah, it's not cool, but we're doing okay. We're glad to be able to talk to you, by the way.
What part of the leg? I'm glad you were able to get through. Is it let's see, was the shin bone, the tibia? Is that what got broken?
Yes. Yes, he broke his tibia and also displaced his kneecap.
Ooh, that's an extra bit of fun to throw into the mix. That sounds very painful.
Yeah. He had a question for you, actually.
Sure.
As a blind person, if you were to break your leg, how would you deal with that?
I'd probably cry. It'd be really sad. I'm not sure how I would have to deal with it any differently than anybody else, other than the fact that I wouldn't see all the blood that was squirting out of my leg, I guess. I did have, I got injured. One of the times I got injured pretty bad while surfing, Banana was out of the state. She was actually on the other side of the country, and I was able to call her on my cell phone. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do or who to call, or I didn't know what to do. So I just called her, and she actually ended up, I know people are going to get mad at me, like, you're not supposed to use Uber as an ambulance, but it was all she could think to do. And she called an Uber for me, and the person graciously picked me up at the beach. I got wrapped up in a couple of towels because I was bleeding from a million different spots. I had blood in my hands, elbow, chest, feet, knees. I was bleeding everywhere. So the person wrapped me up in some towels, brought me home, and I have a former police officer as a neighbor, and he came over and checked on me afterwards. So not supposed to use Uber as an ambulance, but that's what we did in that one specific occasion.
Wow, that's quite a story.
Yeah, I went back in once I got my wits about me, like, it was like 2 or 3 days later, and Uber did allow me to like add on to the tip, and I gave the person a 300% tip because I realized in retrospect what I was asking of her, to pick up a bleeding blind guy with a surfboard, and she did it, and she was really kind and gracious about it, so I was very thankful for that. But next time, I will call an ambulance.
That sounds like an awesome person.
Yeah, she was great. Well, thank you.
Cool.
Thank you for the call. You have anything else, or was that it?
I just had one more question for you. This one's from me. I'm a writer, and I was curious what kind of fiction you like.
I am a big fantasy sci-fi nerd. The big popular ones, I'm a big fan of Game of Thrones, Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time. Right now, I'm re-listening to the First Law series by Joe Abercrombie. I also like a lot of sci-fi, and I'm trying to think of what the heck the Ruins of the Galaxy is a big long series I've been listening to. I mean, it's not very. I don't listen to a lot of mature stuff. I mean, I think people might expect I'd listen to something a little more intelligent, but when I throw in a book, I just want a total escape. I do like sci-fi. I do like fantasy.
That's really cool. It's nice that you mentioned the fantasy, because that's actually what I've been working on most recently, is a fantasy story about the origin of werewolves, actually.
You know what? I almost could have guessed that. Wolf and Fox, and you're working on a book about werewolves. This is all, at least you know your category.
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, I wish you the best of luck on the book. I hope that goes really well. I got three, to shamelessly plug my work as well. I've got 3 books out there. 2 of them are fantasy. One of them is sci-fi. One is called Wish by Pete Gustin. You can get that on Audible and Amazon. The other one is called The Skill Conspiracy, Audible, Amazon. I narrated that one. And my most recent one is I Talk to Atoms. I narrated that one as well on Audible. And that one, 2 of them were #1 bestsellers on Amazon as they debuted, and I was really, really, really appreciative for all the people that checked those 3 books out. You can check out Pete Gustin on Audible and grab my books. It is the Late Night Show. It's getting later, so I can call it the Late Night Show now with Pete. Who's this?
Jackson.
Jackson, what's going on tonight?
I'm just chilling with my cats.
Yeah, you just kicking around on YouTube, saw I was there and wanted to give me a call?
Mm-hmm.
How long was the hold time? How long are you hanging for? Give people an idea of how long they're going to have to wait if they get me.
15 minutes.
All right, that's not bad. That's not bad. I tried to keep the number down by keeping just 6 people in there at a time. Did you have anything in particular you wanted to ask tonight? Any questions?
No.
All right. Well, he just wanted to see if he could get through and wanted to see if he could say hi. So he accomplished his goal. He said hello. He kind of, Steve ran away. He scared Steve away. But I'm still here. It's Pete, the Late Night Show, talking to you guys. Who is this right here?
This is Trevor. How you doing, man?
Trevor, good to hear your voice. What's going on? So where are you calling from?
I'm from Lincoln, Nebraska. Or, well, I live here now. I'm not from here, but.
Cool. What's going on with you in Lincoln this evening?
Not much. Just was scrolling on TikTok and saw your live stream. And my girlfriend and I are both legally blind and have been following you for a while. You're one of our inspirations for getting into content. So.
Oh, that is you guys.
It's cool to see you on here taking calls.
Do you guys create? Do you do videos together?
Not yet. I haven't done anything yet. I haven't posted anything yet. I'm just working on getting everything together. She has posted blindness content in the past and is working on something new now. And we haven't discussed any collaborations, but yeah, that's where we're at right now.
I'll wait for the collab. That sounds awesome. Also, I think you might be the first. Well, I don't know. I didn't ask everybody, but I've been curious for the past 40 minutes if I was actually able to click the button properly on TikTok to go live. Do you use, you're both visually impaired. Do you use text to speech, or do you have enough vision that you can see the screen a little bit still?
I can still see the screen a bit.
The TikTok app, if you have to rely exclusively on text to speech, is really a little clunky and unfriendly. Yeah, and I also, here's the weirdest thing. If you're using text to speech and you're trying to scroll, so normal people scroll, you just take one finger and you swipe up, and this is how you go to the next video on TikTok. Right. You swipe up and you go to the next one. So if you're doing it with text to speech, swiping up just takes you to the next thing that it's going to read out loud. So what you have to do is you have to do a 3-finger swipe up. And so you get to one video, then you get to the next video, and generally when you try to go to the third one, it shoots you back to the top again. It's the most frustrating app to try and navigate with text to speech. I've been really appreciative for the support for the videos that get put out with TikTok. I love the TikTok audience. The people are really kind there. They're a lot nicer than they are on Facebook. Facebook is the meanest platform that I'm on. I post
Really?
there, and people are argumentative and they are angry. I think they're like leftover political anger is just misplaced when I'm like, what are you yelling at me for? I didn't do anything. So I love the TikTok people. They're very supportive and nice, but man, the app is hard to navigate when you have to use text to speech.
No, you're definitely right there. I am still able to use it visually, thankfully. So, and I actually tuned in just before you were talking to that one fellow about being at the range shooting firearms.
Yep.
And that's something that I've been working through lately is I've spent the most time out of my life in North Dakota. My dad was in the Navy, but he retired in North Dakota.
Yep.
And of course, gun culture is huge there.
Yep.
And so when I turned 18, I did get my concealed carry permit, and I still have my 9mm. But I've been, and I live in a state with constitutional carry, so I can still carry legally. But I've been kind of wrestling with carrying now that my vision's gotten so much worse, just because, you know, target identification is such a big thing. And my vision is so dependent on lighting. And so, yeah, that's something I've been working through myself.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's definitely allowed to make their own decisions. That's what this country is all about. As long as it's legal and you got the right, you should make the decision for yourself. I got a concealed carry Class A permit in Massachusetts. That's just because that's what the law enforcement of that town was issuing. They didn't issue Class Bs. You just got a Class A, and that was it. So I either got Class A or nothing, right. And I got the Class A. But I never carried. And you know, I mean, I had the right to, and I had the ability to. But I thought about it, and if I found myself in a situation where I felt like I needed to fire a gun, I chose for myself that I would rather not make that call, because there's a strong chance that I could do it wrong and injure the wrong person or possibly myself. So I never did carry. But again, that's everybody can make that choice on their own.
Absolutely. And, you know, I carried a lot more when I was still driving. I haven't been carrying much at all lately. I had to stop driving 3 or 4 years ago. But I guess the main thing that I've noticed is I've been to and lived in places that are considered pretty rough, both in like inner city Minneapolis. I spent a lot of time there, and I lived in Albuquerque, New Mexico for a while. And one thing that I noticed is not only am I a pretty big guy, so people typically, and I'm pretty unassuming looking generally, so people typically leave me alone. But once I got the white cane, people that you would think you'd want to steer clear of started coming up to me and offering me help.
Really?
Yeah. Like, especially in New Mexico, like you'd see these, you know, tatted up guys that looked like they were trouble.
You know,
and
you say that.
they saw me coming.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I got excited. Finish your story. I'll tell you something similar, but go ahead. Yeah.
Sure. But yeah, they'd see you coming and they'd be like, "Hey man, you want me to walk you to the bus stop? What line are you looking for?" You know, so on and so forth. They're actually super helpful. So.
I was with Banana. We went to Comic-Con. Really fun that I got to meet some people dressed up that apparently had some spectacular outfits on. There's a video on YouTube, a short where it's called "Beating Off Thor's Fans," because he gave me his hammer and I was beating off his fans with a hammer. And we were in my double entendres. That right. Banana makes fun of me. He's like, "You're so damn immature." I'm like, I can't help it if the stupid algorithm likes my double entendres. But yeah, it was me and her and my friend Tom, who's a writer up in LA and working with me on the Blind Surfer cartoon. But we were down at Comic-Con, and there were these two big dudes. Tom described them to me later, like the same thing, you know, big guys, tatted up, kind of like, I don't know, muscle shirts or something, like dudes that you like wouldn't think you'd want to mess with. But I was walking up to a curb, and there were a bunch of people not paying attention and taking pictures. And these two like big scary guys like, "Hey, get out of the way, move what's up." And they cleared out some path for me to walk through with my cane. And both Banana and Tom, they were like, that was unexpected, but that was pretty cool.
Right. For sure. Yeah. A lot of people, and this is a big topic of discussion amongst the people that I've known who are blind, but like how to deal with the public when they try to offer too much help.
That's it's a tough.
For me, I get a little salty about it. So
see, I try
I might not always handle it.
No, I do
the best way, but
yeah, I used to get the same way, like I got it. But then you have to remember, see, it's funny, like you can say that they're just trying to help, but then you can feel like they think you're incompetent. And you're like, no, I can do this. I can. So it's really, and I don't want to discourage people out there in the world from like, oh, I don't want to help that blind person. I'm going to get yelled at. I'd rather them offer the help and me not need it than me need help and not have it offered, which is what the conclusion I came to in my head. And again, you know, I've been dealing with this for a long time and I've gotten a lot older. And so, you know, in my 20s, in my early 30s, was I pissy when people are like, can I do that for you? I'm like, nah, I can do it myself. I've tried to calm down about that because I did realize that eventually, and, you know, it sounds like your vision is fading, like it's getting worse over time. And you know, I've been there. And so, you know, there's going to be a point in the future, you know, someone asked you if you needed help crossing the road today and you're like, no, of course not. I can get across the road. But, not that long ago, I went to a dentist appointment by myself. I do very few things by myself. I generally have Banana or a friend or someone with me. But timing was what it was. And I had to go to a dentist appointment by myself. And on the way home, I was trying to cross the street, a simple thing. Like, you know, if this was me in my 20s, be like, of course I can cross the road by myself. But it's the only really busy intersection near my house. And the stupid thing doesn't beep. It doesn't, when you press the button, the light changes, but it doesn't go boop, 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 boop. And so I must have looked really nervous. It was the coolest thing that I think has ever happened to me. I get recognized a lot out and about, and it's just kind of nice to talk to fans. Like, that's great. I love it. But this guy recognized me, saw that I was in a weird position or situation. He actually stopped his car. He's like, hey, Pete. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, I'm a fan. You need a hand? I'm like, I do. And he stopped his car in the middle of the road, got out of the car, left the car, put his blinkers on, I assume, walked me across the road, said, he's like, I got to run back, get back to my car, but I was happy to help you out. Love your videos. I'm like, thank you. And, you know, like I said, if that was, awesome. If that was 20 years ago, I'd been like, no, I can do it. And then I would have been annoyed that he thought I couldn't cross the road. But honestly, I was a little scared. I usually do that intersection with Banana or someone else. And there were a lot of cars. It was rush hour. I was getting a little stressed out that the stupid light wasn't beeping for me that night. And the fact that a fan came and helped me cross the road. I never got his name. I was really kind of, it was such a weird, surreal situation. Like, first I was stressed and like someone out of nowhere came to my rescue. And so I forgot to ask his name, but that was one of the cooler, that was like one of the times I was like, I'm glad I'm recognizable. That helped me out. So I try and be gracious if I can.
Yeah. Did you ever do shades training?
No, I actually haven't done any. I haven't, because it all happened so slow for me. I lost my eyesight so slowly. I just was like, I'll figure it out. I'll do this myself. I'll figure this out. So I've never actually had any official training.
Yeah, it is extremely helpful. I was in that same position. I'm like, no, I'll be good. But some people in my life encouraged me to go do it, and I ended up going. And I didn't want to at first, but it ended up being really helpful. But there were a number of times when under shades, I would be waiting to cross the street and I would wait a couple light cycles to make sure I was lined up right.
Yep.
Because where I was, they didn't have any audio on the traffic signals. And so you had to go by traffic patterns.
Yes.
And so I would wait a couple cycles, but I would still press the ped head, we called it, to turn on the walk signal so that I could time it and get the feel for it. And people would get so frustrated with me for that. And they would cuss me out.
Oh, because you were causing the light to be red longer for them, right?
That's what they thought. Yeah. I don't really know if that's how that works, but that's certainly what they thought.
Yeah, I don't is that just an urban myth? I just always assume that, but I don't even know.
I think it can affect the traffic, but it's only by a couple seconds. But people are in such a hurry that they don't really, they still get frustrated, which is understandable. But I have one story where I was at this one intersection and I was in the middle of crossing. I had my heading. I knew where I was going. I was lined up right and I was crossing. And this guy, I could tell that he was a trucker because I heard the door slam and I could hear his truck idling. And he left his truck idling at the stoplight and got out of his cab, came over and grabbed my arm. That's the thing that really gets me is there's a difference between offering help and then just like grabbing you and dragging you where they think you should be.
Yep.
So for me, a lot of it is about the vibes. Like if you're like genuinely trying to be helpful, then great. But if you're treating me like a 2-year-old and you're just trying to force your will on me, like what you think I should do, then we're going to have a problem. Like that's my main thing.
Yeah, thank you for the call. I'm going to move on. I also have to give a warning to the TikTok audience right now that if I don't go and touch the screen, it kicks me off. It says you've been inactive for too long, so it's going to kick me off at an hour, which is probably going to happen any minute now if it hasn't happened already. If you're watching on TikTok and you want to keep watching, come on over to Blind Surfer on YouTube, or you can also check out Pete Gustin on Twitch, because if the TikTok audience is still there, you're probably just about to go away. It's hard for me to walk over there and interact with the thing through text-to-speech. If I had Brooks or someone else, I'd be able to do it. But yeah, if you're watching on TikTok, come on over to YouTube. We'll do a few more calls. I'm going to take one call, and then I'm going to try some little technical thing to see if I can get it to work. It is the Late Night Show with Pete, 760-517-6844. Who's this?
All right.
Hey, who's this?
My name's Kodog.
Kodog?
Yeah.
What's going on?
I like your videos.
Thank you. I'm appreciative that you watch them.
Yeah, I made you out of Legos.
You made me out of Legos?
Yeah.
That's kind of fun. Is it a surfing stance, or is he just standing there?
Yeah. Surfing.
That's kind of cool. I feel like I feel like you should send that picture somehow so Banana can check it out.
Yeah. I'm starting to make Super Dog out of Legos.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah.
I would love to do that. That'd be super fun.
A full-size one.
Full size Doberman? That's pretty big.
Yeah.
Hit me once you get closer to completed on that. Hit me up. You can go to you can contact me on Instagram, Real Pete Gustin, or you can go to my Linktree, linktree.com/Pete Gustin, and there's a number of ways to contact me there. Once you get finished, I'd love to have the pictures so that Banana could describe them to me. Would you send pictures once you get those projects finished?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about tonight?
Yeah. I showed my aunt these videos of you.
Yeah.
And she likes them. She watches them every day.
Really? That's cool.
Yeah, and she's blind too.
Yeah. I try and make the videos as much as I can friendly for blind people to listen to as well. I don't have any dead period. I don't know if anybody's ever noticed this, but the 60-second videos, there's not more than 1.5 seconds where someone's not talking. I don't have any establishing shots or, hey, look at this. I try and keep them as story-based as possible so even people without vision can watch them, or try to.
Yeah, that's cool.
Well, I'm glad that you found the videos. I'm glad your aunt is able to enjoy them as well. I'm really excited, thankful, and appreciative of the Lego projects you're working on. Definitely hit me up once those are completed or close to completed. It'd be really fun for Banana to see them. I'm going to try something real quick because I want to do it at an hour. So this is I'm looking at it like I can see it. This is the software that I'm using. It's apparently showing me, I think, to run this whole thing. If I go off of this screen, it might kick me off, but I kind of wanted to go into the YouTube app and see if I could actually see, or you know what I'm saying when I say see, if I could hear the chat. So I'm going to swipe out of this. If it kicks me off, we've been doing this for a little over an hour. I'm just going to say goodnight. But if it doesn't kick me off, I'm going to see if if I'm able to interact or at least hear some of the chat messages. So, all right. I'm not sure if I'm still there. YouTube. Oh, but the videos play. Joe B says, "Hey, what's up? I'm blind too and play music." So, wow, this is stupid though because I'm hearing myself. Next, how do you mute the video? Live. Expand panel to full screen. Clip. How do you mute it? I want to mute it. Hello, sounds cool. Black Boy says, uh-oh. Thunder Owl says, here we go. Black Boy says, we're good. Why are you good? I'm coming into this late. It's like walking into a conversation late. Still, Black Boy's still good. Stick says he loves me. It actually says we love me. So you're speaking for everybody. You're saying everybody loves me. That's really good to hear. I wish I could mute this stupid audio, because if I turn the volume down, then you won't be able to hear the text to speech. Black Boy is scared. Tiny Tonk loves the vids. Someone else is scared. This is okay so far, I think. All right, someone's going to bed. I just kind of wanted to see if I could get into the chat. I just want to see if it was possible. I'll have to try and figure out how to do that. Oh, great. I can't get it to stop playing. What is this thing? I'm streaming to multi-stream. All right, so we're back. That's me. How do I look? Do I look good? Am I centered? Are my lights on? I always wonder if the lights are going to burn out behind my head, and then I won't know it. I was very curious. I wanted to see if I could actually get into the chat. I feel like there's always a lot going on in there, and I'm never part of it unless Brooks is here reading it for me. I just wanted to thank you for indulging me and letting me hop into the chat. Didn't seem like I was missing a whole heck of a lot, but I did want to get in there and see if I could do it. Who's this?
Hey, this is Adam from Florida.
Adam from Florida. Am I still, let me utilize you as my technical support guy. Am I still streaming, or did I knock myself offline by trying that little adventure?
Looks like you're good until I paused it.
Okay, that's a smart idea.
Yeah, you were messing with it on the YouTube thing. It's still going, so.
Okay, I wasn't sure if I put the software into the background, if it would kick me off the internet entirely. What part of Florida are you in, and how are you faring after the storms that came through?
Just north of St. Pete, Tampa area.
Cool. I used to be the voice of the Shark in Tampa Bay, 98.7 The Shark.
Oh yeah, I listen to them.
That was a fun radio station. I'm still on their sister station, WRXK K-Rock, but the Shark ended up flipping formats and changing everything, and I got taken out with the rest of the trash. But I really had a lot of fun working on the Shark. It seems like a really fun market, a lot of fun events and stuff going on in that area.
Yeah, I mean, Tampa, St. Pete's always a good area for that sort of stuff. But
did you get beat up with Milton or no?
Helene, we got a ton of flooding. Like some the people on the coast got 4 to 5 feet in their houses.
Holy crap!
And then it was bad. And then Milton, it was more wind, so that just made a bunch of trees fall over.
4 to 5 feet. Are you saying 4 to 5 feet of water in your house? It's like halfway up your first floor, right?
Yeah, my cousin had water over her countertops in the kitchen.
Oh my God. That's crazy.
Yeah, the fridge was floating and all that, and yeah, not good.
Whoa. Well, and you did you fare okay?
Yeah, I'm good. I do tree work though, so work's been crazy lately.
I bet. Are you rooting for extra work when Milton comes through, or you don't want too much damage?
We used to when we were a smaller company, but now it's not really worth it. I mean, you make a little bit more money, but the stress is it's through the roof.
Do you deal with a lot of palm tree removal or no?
We do removals. We try to avoid trimming them though, because there's not a lot of money in it.
So I'm in San Diego, and you try and call someone to trim your palm trees. It is hundreds of dollars per tree out here. It's outrageously expensive, and I didn't know this. Palm trees apparently attract a lot of rats and vermin, so a lot of people that I know keep having theirs ripped out. They're like, we have just a big rat problem. They're apparently hanging out in and around the small root system of the palm trees, and I'm like, oh, I thought beautiful tropical. I didn't think rats and vermin.
Oh yeah, they like the tops of them too. I've had them crawl across my arms when you're trimming them. That's not a fun day.
God, I'd fall right out of the tree at that point. How do you not freak out?
Well, hopefully you're strapped in, but yeah, it's not fun.
Well then, what else is going on besides me forcing you to talk about your day job?
Oh, you're good. No, I was just calling I had one quick question that I'm not sure you've answered before. I was just curious, as a blind person, what are your dreams like? Do you still have sight in them at all, or is it totally black and kind of just curious about that?
I do have two shorts. I always feel like if someone ever asks a question that I haven't answered before, I'm going to be shocked. And this is not. It's just I've done 1,400 videos. I've gotten everything. So there are two videos where I'm talking about what I see. And to this day, I didn't think about it. So it's actually cool that you asked the question that someone else did that maybe make the video, because I didn't think about it. It just was what it was. You know, when you're you think about you. And so I dream every night in vision, like good vision. So for a while, I think when my vision was finally really going away, I was having a lot of stressful dreams where I would like lose Skylar, like my small dog, 9.5 pound dog. I remember one of the last dreams with bad vision that I had. I was in a parking garage and I could hear her, but I couldn't see her. And I just had the worst night of sleep. I was all stressed out. And I had a handful of dreams where I had bad vision. These days, I mostly dream in good vision, which is weird. I don't know why my brain does it. Like I enjoy going to bed and like I try and wake up and remember the dreams because I will remember seeing everything in like really solid vision. Now, and the other freaky thing that goes on, do you remember the movie 300? We are Sparta. Did you ever see that?
Yeah, I remember that one.
So I had a little vision when that came out, and I remember everything was like overly realistic, like because there was a lot of CG, and they'd like zoom in on someone, and you could see like every detail of their eye, like the tear that was coming out. There was just like a lot of really close-up detail that was going on in that movie. And for some reason, every once in a while, I dream in hyper clear vision, like as if I've got ultra 8K vision and my face is pressed right up against the screen. So I never dream without sight. I never dream with the sight that I've got now where it's all light and all dark. I never have those dreams. It's always some degree of vision, either good or really good in my dreams. Really weird. I'd love to talk to a dream expert and figure out why that is, but that's how it works for me.
That's hilarious because I, on occasion, not always, but I'll have dreams where I can't see. Like I'll wake up and not be able to open my eyes in the dream.
Oh, that's freaky. I've had those ones where you like can't run away or you can't stop falling, but no, not. Yeah, and you'd think I got plenty of experience with not seeing. You'd think I'd have that, but I've never had that.
Interesting. No, that's cool. I appreciate you answering that.
Yeah, thank you for the call. I think we're getting a little late in the evening. I'm going to take these guys out one more time. I mean, he looks dead asleep right now next to me. I can feel him laying on me. But that doesn't mean he's not going to have tons of energy in about 2 minutes because he's a puppy. So I'm going to take one more call for the evening, and I'll do a little wrap up for you, a preview of what I got coming up this week. But the last phone call I'm going to take right now, provided it's a really good one, I like to go out on a high note, is right here. Who's this?
Hi, this is Max from Arizona.
Max, send me out strong. What do you got for me?
I have a question
Sure.
about my business.
Okay.
My parents own an accounting business, and they asked me, would I be interested in receiving it when they die? I'm not really kind of interested in it, but it's a pretty stable company. What should I do with it?
Man, that's you're putting like the future of your life in my hands here. I will say, that it's a good opportunity. So there's two things you got to weigh here. And I'm stuttering because I'm trying to figure out which one to go with first. If they have a successful business and they've done all the hard work and they built it up and they got a lot of clients, that is a huge shortcut for you. Like it's great to be handed a solid business like that. Also, if they're really focused on, are they specialize in taxes, or is it more like corporate accounting?
They mainly work for bigger companies. I believe one of them is.
You don't have to tell me. You don't have to tell me all their clients. Yeah, you don't need to tell me that. But like if they're doing individual tax, like those accountants can work like a short period of the year, make their year's worth of money, and then enjoy time off. But if it's more corporate accounting, that's a year long 365 24/7 job. So in that respect, you can be one of those people that has a good salary and a really good living and benefit from the hard work of your parents, which it sounds like they want to pass on to you and they want to give that to you. But if it's something that's just going to make you miserable, like, my dad's in the car business. And when I was younger, he owned a dealership. And it turned out that I was never going to be in the car business because I can't even drive a car. But even if I had good vision, like, did I want to grow up? Like, he's passionate about cars. My dad loves cars. He could talk about cars all the time. And I love hearing how passionate he is about his cars. So for him to work in the car business is great. That's his passion. But was it mine? Not really. And so I took a different route, and I'm a performer, I'm an entertainer, I'm a voice actor, a writer. These are things that I'm passionate about, and that's what gets me up every day. So I'm really appreciative that I followed my own route, and I've come into some success later in my life, but I spent 20 years building up this business. So you got to weigh, WEIGH, you have to weigh what's most important to you. I spent 20 years building this business, and now I'm successful at it and I'm making good money. Were those 20 years of building it worth it? Or could I have jumped into something that maybe was given to me if that was an opportunity? Which way are you leaning? This is I feel like we could do a whole hour on this topic. Which way are you leaning?
I'd probably say the route you went. I'm pretty interested in like the security realm, probably going to cybersecurity. I have a few people in my family who are pretty, integrated. One went on Shark Tank one time, so we already have kind of a start. I might join their company. That's
if that's what you're passionate about. I like having a plan and a backup plan personally. Like I like I was saying at the beginning of this, I was working in radio and building my voiceover career, and now I do voiceovers, but I also do YouTube on the side if there's any way I could ever begin to monetize that. Like I like to have a plan and a backup plan. I mean, it sounds like your parents would like you to follow in their footsteps. Also, though, I mean, unless they're retiring early, you might be waiting until you're like, 50 until you take over. But maybe you could work with them and do cybersecurity and just kind of see what works out and where your passion is. That is the most middle of the road advice I think I could give, but that's how I generally like to play it. I like to play it a little safe.
Wow, that's pretty helpful. Thank you so much, Pete.
All right. I hope that was helpful. That's an interesting one. People putting like the where's his life going to go? He's going to be like, I called the blind surfer 20 years ago and he told me to go into accounting and now I'm miserable. What a jerk. But I think it's Sunday night. We're getting into the later 9:53. It's getting late around here. I got to be up for a 6 a.m. session like I usually do tomorrow morning. So Steve is going to take me out for a walk. We're going to grab Skylar. We're going to go out. Tomorrow's video, what is the Monday video? Oh, it's me riding a skateboard while carrying a giant surfboard, and there is at least one crash involved. Then Wednesday, I'm going to re-release Underestimate Me, my hip-hop song. I'm going to re-release it on the Shorts feed to see if YouTube can feed it to a little more people. I did release it as a long, and my longs never get picked up that much by YouTube. That's the music from Underestimate Me right now. I see there's people. I don't see. I got the notification coming through that there's other people that want to talk, but this has been about an hour and a half. I gotta pay some attention to the puppies here. So I don't know when I'm going to be back next. I've really enjoyed talking to everybody these past few nights. We definitely have a couple of contractually obligated sponsored shows that are going to be coming up over the next couple months, and then I will try and do more of these as I can, because I really enjoy them. I love hearing your stories. I love talking to you people. And right now I'm going to get up and try and find my way over to the computer and see if I can turn this thing off without crashing. Is Steve even going to let me up? Steve, you going to let me up? I wonder if I can do it from here. Can I end the stream? I'm told if I swipe right. Am I swiping right? Am I ended? Am I still here? No, I'm still here, aren't I? I'm going to have to get up and find my way to the computer. Steve, you got to get up. Steve, get up. Steve, get off of me. I can't move with you here. Okay. Where's my phone? I lost my phone. Thanks, everybody.
Live streaming. YouTube Studio Mozilla Firefox. One running window. End stream. End stream.